Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome aboard Flying with Mike. We're sitting here in Gibraltar, preparing to depart for Lima, India, Whiskey, with it, Lima, Oscar, Whiskey, Ema. Ooh, yeah, easy for the man behind the control stick today to say. But anyway, there's the famous Rock of Gibraltar. But we're sitting here at stand 4, getting ready to fly out of here. Departure time's in about 45 minutes or less. Hope you all can join us. We've got a route that's already been placed into the chat room. All we got to do right now is, hang on a second, one thing. Well, we're going to go ahead and do this. Let's hop up in the cockpit. And we're going to go through the preliminary cockpit procedure and power up. So we've already got external power hooked up to the plane, not hooked on to the bus of the plane yet. So we're up here in the cockpit, and for the preliminary cockpit preparation, first things we have to do is get the ground power on. You do that right over here. Simply come to the EFB. You'll be on the supply page. Simply click where it says on for ground power unit. It'll turn the word off here. You'll see it blue. I go ahead and throw the chocks in just as a nice safety measure. And I go through and get the stairs to the aircraft, since we are out exterior load today, and cargo loaders. I'll get the fuel up to it here momentarily. So that's step 1. Hang on a second. Step 2. We'll look down this way. Let's move the thrust levers, make sure they're at idle. Engine masters are off. And engine mode select, which is this switch right here, is in the normal position. Flaps right here is 0. And as always, for some silly reason, my spoilers are always either armed or in the halfway position. So let's just get those closed up. Parking brakes on. Moving slightly up the panels, we can see that the gear handle is down. Because we do not see 3 green landing gear lights, we got to click the battery switches to bring power onto the aircraft. We'll show that off again real quick here. We'll move up here. And the final check for the preliminary cockpit prep is to make sure the wipers are both turned off. There you go, folks. Cockpit prep complete. So let's now move on to the power up phase of this broadcast. To do that, we just go to the batteries. They're right here in the middle of the overhead panel. Click one of them. Okay, now the batteries are actually on. I know when you looked at it, see, when you look at the Airbus panel, there's nothing lit up. And that tells you everything's on. Not in that case. If you don't see those 3 landing gear indicating lights that they're down and green, your batteries aren't on yet. So when you click one, turns the other light showing you that they actually are off. Turn that one on. Going to see a little bit of the Christmas tree begin to light up. These will flash. We see that external power is available. Let's go ahead and click onto it, and voila, here comes the panel lighting up. And if we glance down, there you go, 3 green showing on the landing gear. Plus, with the external power on, all of these are now starting to go through their test cycles so that we can get ready for flight. While we wait, let's just do a quick continuation here of getting our cockpit ready by setting our lights up. And our lights are in the positions here. And we don't... Oh, here they come. They are now done with their test and alive. Moving down to the bottom here. We'll keep the floods where they're at, and we'll come back up to the middle here. Turn our ECAMs up and to where I can better see them. All right, so there you go, folks. Cockpit prep, power up, and the preliminary cockpit preparation. That's the walk onto the plane. All complete. So with that, now let's move into our pre-flight brief. And as we all know, for that pre-flight brief, we're going to bring Sim Toolkit in. I'm going to use it in a slightly different manner today. Let me bring it over here. And let me see how that's showing up for you all, because, okay, it's showing up. That's what I wanted to make sure. Okay, so we're on the new, if you will, this is how they want their, what do they call this page? Flight summary to look. It's the only difference from the old one to this one is they give us a map. So it shows us the rain. There isn't much around Gibraltar or pushing up towards LOWI. We're going to find that out here real quick. So the loadout for our aircraft today, we're going to have 13,000 pounds or 13,000 kilograms of payload. Broke down 150 people, 400 pounds of cargo. Zero fuel weight will be 55,852 kilograms, giving us the ramp weight you see there. We're going to uplift 97,000, I'm sorry, strike that, 9,799 kilograms of fuel. Cost index for the flight today is going to be a 60, and I believe our initial climb out will be flight level 360. Moving over to the actual operating flight plan, or OFP. Again, you can see our routing up here. Created 1919 Zulu. Again, cost index of 60. Air distance is 1,135 miles. And our average wind will be 330 degrees at 36 knots. So what's that going to yield us? Here again is our breakdown of fuel. We're going to actually run with, hang on a second, let me see if I updated that to 2.2 for our reserve. I've got a little cheat sheet I run with flights. 985, okay, and they've been varying every time I do a check here for 30 minutes. Okay, cargo, and alternate for today is Munich, and I believe, hang on a second, the next slide down here, the distance, hang on, I got to go up a little, is 153 miles away, so we may get up to flight level 210 getting there. But you can see the route a little further down. You can see our routing again without the step climbs and all in it. Our operating time, now we're looking at about 2 hours 55 minutes, but we're estimating 3 hours 15. We'll see which one wins. Here's our weights. Finally, as we go through all our fixes, we're coming into the wind information. All right, here comes the wet. Whoa, what's this? Saw something volcanic. Oh, okay. No weather data available for volcanic ash, which I didn't even think about, folks, to be totally honest. We did have a volcano blow its top up in Iceland. All right, so weather here in Gibraltar, as you can see, 090 at 3. So we take runway 9 for departure. Pretty simple stuff. No weather of any value here other than our QNH of 1019. Let me just make sure I match. Almost. Stand by. Since that's a new weather, I want to make sure I'm as up to date as I can be. We are going to be flying on POSCON, and that's one thing I haven't done yet is set up our flight plan in there. So we'll get that here momentarily. Innsbruck's weather. Last I checked, still no significant weather as of 1850 Zulu. So again, should be picturesque coming into the Austrian Alps. As is Munich, I believe, is the same weather. Yep. So, again, You don't get many of these days. I know in spring here in St. Louis, I can only imagine the same in the Alps. All right, folks, so that wraps it up here. I'm just going through, making sure. One thing I am gonna wish we could look at again, but I guess they're not readily available. Okay, no big deal. So let me file our flight plan really quick. And I'm just doing this on POSCON. I say that it's going to be really quick. There it goes. And then it decides to drag its feet. All right, so we're not going to get off when I thought I would. Let's go for 20, 30. Then we'll go for 2030. 2030. Sorry about that, folks. And actually, I'm going to go for 35. Okay, so looking over the rest of this, okay, submit. And it is filed. Okay, so we're going to be using LECM for our CD. LECM. Okay. Is that right? LECM. And our frequency is 122.95. 120.100 for Innsbruck. And as I tell everyone, hopefully I remember this. Usually when I get moving into the sky, I forget to, when I get to Innsbruck, to switch over to common traffic. So hopefully I don't forget. Last flight, we actually had ATC up with Houston. So that was kind of fun. Did a good job. All right, so we got that. Now, that, folks, ends the pre-flight brief. So let me get us back into cockpit here. All right, now get that up here. Swing this over. And while we continue on here, let's get some, down in the lower right, I've also brought on our Discord channel. So feel free to hop on that. I've also got our overlay in place to give you an idea of our aircraft's information while we're in transit. All right, so flight plans filed. Let's go ahead and get on POSCON real quick here. To do that, we select plugins, POSCON, and then log in. And today we're in this aircraft. And it's going to go through putting a bunch of things up here for me to acknowledge. And then the big thing we do is we come back to plugins, click POSCON, Web UI. Now what it does, takes us back, puts another page up here. And I'm going to go ahead and log in to LECM. Is that correct? LECM. And MAC 0572. And then we're going to simply send it. Okay, that sends our flight plan to POSCON. If we have a controller out there, which I haven't checked to see the map yet if we do or not. All I know we do. It'll tell us it's been sent. Make sure we don't have anything to reply to, and we don't. Okay, so the next ding, if we get one, will be our squawk code. All right, so that, folks, takes care of getting us on POSCON. The next step here in the process is going to be getting the aircraft itself loaded. So let's move back over here to the EFB. And to do the aircraft loading and EFB menu stuff here, first thing I want to do is go to the fuel page, click call. And what that's going to do is just the fuel trucks right here. It just says it's there now. Now, before we move on, let's take a step outside. Now, I haven't done one step and I'm kind of kicking myself, but you can see the belt loaders are in place from when we called them. There's the fuel truck, and there's our ladders so that the people can get in and out of the plane. What am I kicking myself over? Well, I always do a step that a lot of people don't at this time, just so I'm identified. And I turn my nav logo lights on. Now there's two positions on them, 1 and 2. What does that mean? Well, let's come over here, move this up a little bit. We're going to use the same wing I use all the time. We're going to zoom in and then zoom in again. And then we're going to kind of come up. Okay, so as you look at this wing, here's your strobe when you turn that on or auto and you aircraft comes off the ground. They start flashing. We all know what strobes are. However, what is nav 1 and 2? Well, that switch, you have, this is the nav 1 light. It's lit. Nav 2 is the one behind it. You can't put them both on. They're individual. And some crews are very, simple-minded, and pilot flying is nav 1. If the pilot flying is the captain, nav 1. If the pilot flying is the co-pilot, nav 2. Or they might get into some, I don't even want to think of what some of the pilots could come up with. If they're anything like truckers, oh my goodness. So, but the big thing here, however you decide nav 1, nav 2, it basically you're rotating, so you're not always using the same one. You could go even odd days. On even days we run 1, on odd days we run 2. Whatever. There's 2 lights here, folks. So if you come out, Mr. First Officer, Mr. Captain, Mr. Pilot not flying, do the inspection and go, hey, the nav light's not on. Could you switch it to number 2? Boom, you're legal. If number 2 comes on. If it doesn't, you got another problem. So nav 1, nav 2, that just helps, keeps the flight going. Pretty simple stuff. But anyway, again, another look, you can see the fuel and the ladders and some of the baggage loaders. All right. So let's move in and let's now do what we need to do here on the fuel load, passenger cargo load, and so forth. So back down here, fuel load again for the day. Got to call your fuel truck, your packs, and your cargo to be able to update. So we're here. We're going to be putting on, wrong switch, sorry folks, hang on a second, let me make that go where I want it. There we go. 9,799. Okay, so there we go, and we're going to set. So we've uplifted the 9,799 kilograms into the wing. Plural. If we did that into one wing, we get to fly sideways there. But anyway, now we're going to go to the passenger side. To me, the easiest way to load this, 150, I believe. Let me double check. This one I am going to double check. 150. And set. And you can see now the airplane took on the weight of those people. Some may need a diet. Sorry for the bad joke. And we got the cargo loaders called, so we can go right here, cargo all parts. That way, say for instance you're running with 5 passengers and 1,000,000 pounds of cargo. It'll distribute the cargo down below better. Love to see 1,000,000 pounds of cargo go into one of these tiny little planes, but hey, who knows? Might be a lot of croissants the French need. Again, sorry for the horrible humor. Okay, so we're set now. So let's go up to perf data, and guess what we're going to see? We better see that our planned zero fuel weight of 55,842 kilograms better be showing there. When you add these two numbers up, it better be 13,000 kilograms. And when you add all of this up, it should be 150 pounds. or 50 people. And then you're going to get your CGs, both zero fuel and CG, plus your trim setting and your gross weight. And they're saying 9,800. I ain't gonna squabble over 1 kilo, so long as we're not over gross. And then you can click set. Now, if you want, you can start removing stuff. I'm going to go ahead and remove cargo, fuel, and leave it at that. Reason I'm leaving packs is we've still got the APU to fire up, the overhead panel to check, the main panel to check, and the pedestal, set the MCDU, get the flight control unit set up before we push back. And if we have any kind of problems, those ladders are a good means of egress. We'll keep them there. All right, so that, folks, ends loading the airplane up. Oh, let's head out. I'm sorry, let's head over and fire up that APU. Now, to fire up the APU, we got to first do the fire check of the APU. The APU is in the center, kind of behind the first officer and captain. All you got to do, it's pretty simple, click test. And there we know it works. Feel free, if you'd like, folks, to click the other two while you're here. Why not? Okay. It is in my check for the overhead panel, but I'm here. Why not check it? All right, so we've done the APU check. I'm going to switch kind of the angle here. We're going to now start the process of getting that APU running. It's very simple. We're just going to do the APU master and start to on. So there we go with the master switch. That moved this ACAM, ECAM to APU. We're going to get a flap open here in a moment. It's doing some quick tests, fluid levels and other things, plus making sure the flap is open so the engine can draw the air in that it needs to run on. Okay, with that open, click the bottom switch for start. And that's going to start the APU up. And once we have it running, we're going to have avail, and avail. It'll probably say APU avail here, but you get the point. And then we can disconnect external power. We can actually remove ground power if we want and turn the APU bleed on. At that point, technically, is when a lot of airlines would actually board, because the airplane might be cooled down a little, depending where they're at. All right, so let's take a look down here. All right, so it looks like we have an APU avail here. Since I was having to have to drink something, the APU button. So we see flap open, avail. We have our voltage. And I am going to click clear. Okay, there we go. Back to where we should be. Up top. Oh, hang on. We're going to do it the easy way. We see avail. So technically now, we can actually disconnect from ground power. I'm going to go ahead and leave it on, but we're going to go ahead and put the bleed on. And start bringing up the temperatures in here. I'm going to actually lower the temperature a little in the cockpit. Raise it a little in the cabin. Okay, there you go, folks. We've got the APU started. So now let's get into the bulk of the pre-flight checks, that being the overhead panel. Then we'll move to the main and pedestal. All right, basically, so if you guys aren't familiar, the way the flow works, you go up this way, go up this way, go up this way, then you head down. They're a little kind of weird. So what I'm going to do is just that. I'm going to go straight up. Anything that says off, if we can, we're going to turn it on. Now there is supposed to be a CVR check. It's not modeled from what I've heard in Flight Factor. If it is, please, please tell me. And then point to me what I need to do to be able to check that. All right, so let's move up to these lovely 3 switches. They're called ADIRS, ADIRS. It's Airbus. We ought to maybe have probably said ABIRS. No, just kidding. I'm sure the AD means something, but it's basically, you Boeing guys, it's the IRSs. We're going to get them into the align feature. To do that, we move them simply nav. It'll flash, go to align, and what we're waiting for is on battery. That lets us know if we lose all power, they'll still work on the battery. Boom. Now, they're kind of weird. Here's one. Number 2 is way over here. Same thing. I move my mouse away so I don't accidentally turn it off. I've done that before. Again, on bat. And then number 3. Same thing. They light up, align, on bat. Once we get the on bat, we know we're good. Okay. Just to look forward, nothing more. I don't know about those refuel panels. Coming down, we're going to make sure that we have nav 1 or 2, whichever one you decide you want to do, have your own system. They recommend moving the strobes to auto. I guess that means, so in case if you forgot when you go on the active runway and didn't turn them on, they're going to come on once you get off the ground. Lazy man's way out is what I'm taking it as. Okay, so we got the strobes there. Now let's move over. Next up is the seatbelt. We're going to go ahead and get no smoking on and seatbelt on. Emergency lights to arm. Landing elevation. That is this switch here. Make sure that's in auto. Or, unless you have to set it. But if you have it in auto, it's going to be automatically setting the altitudes for your landing elevations. What else do we have here? APU bleeds on. We don't have to worry about any of the anti-ice. That's pretty much an automatic thing unless we're below certain parameters. Packs are on. Again, we're going to stay on external power for the time being. Moving up a little further, let's get all of the pumps on. Okay, and we've already done our fire check, but for those that missed it, click test. And I wish I knew how to keep them on, but they won't. Reason I wanted like to know, we should get a fire indication right below the switches, as well as our master cautions and ECAMs. Okay, this part is not really showing much, this panel. So we're going to go back to the bottom, start working our way up. Oh, we got 2 offs here. They're for the cargo heat. And I'm going to go ahead and bring it up to the middle. These are good. And we're on VHF 3 here. Perfect. Again, we'll do another check. Let's come down to the main panel. This is, so now we're doing the main panel and the pedestal. So from here, all we have to do is basically, and I giggle at this checklist. I'm in an Airbus, but yet we use a Boeing term. They threw it in there. FMC on. Folks, in the Boeings, that's what the MCDU is called, MCDU. It'd be like on a Boeing checklist, check your MCDUs. Anyway, I get a kick out of that. I know. I have bad humor. I know. All right, so but we need to make sure the anti-skid and nose wheel steering is on. That's this switch here. Then we come down just a tad bit further. We got to set our radio frequencies. All right, first one I'm going to put in is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a guard channel. for POSCON. This is what we talk on, or what ATC is going to yell at us on to come to their frequency in flight. Not at, unless of course we're at like we are here at Gibraltar. They may come on and say, "Yo, get on my channel." But anyway, 122.95 is the other one. There we go. Over here, we're going to set 121.500. Quick test. What channel frequency is that, folks? Oh, you're lucky. There isn't many people listening. I'll give you the answer. That is the normal emergency channel that we all know we hear Mayday on. And whoop, went the wrong way, sorry. Boom, there we go. Now, while you're here, in order to transmit on radios in this flight factor, now I can't speak for the 67, 777, or the 57s that Boeing has from that flight factor has on the Boeing side, but because I don't have them, that's why I can't speak for them. With this aircraft, in order to communicate on VATSIM, on POSCON, you've got to turn the mic on. So there you go. Turn the little button right here so that the light comes on. Don't worry about these volume ones. It's this switches here that are your mics. And it's not flying with mic. It's your microphone for talking. Ah, thought you'd catch me, didn't you? All right, so, and then finally, since we have not heard anything, let me double check. No new messages, so let's go ahead. I'm going to do a real quick check here in new tab. Nope, I do not see any ATC, so I'm kind of shocked we haven't gotten a frequency yet. So, what I'm going to do is clear this out. This is our transponder, and I'm going to just simply put 2000. And we're going to leave it there in standby for the moment, for the time being. We'll move it out when it's time. And folks, that ends the basically your pre-flight checks for the aircraft, from powering up APU or batteries to APU, or batteries to ground power to APU, to all the checks they do in the cockpit flows of the upper, the main, and the pedestal panels, all the way through. Also, make sure your weather radar is turned off. That actually should be up on the preliminaries, because that can, well, remedy people from having babies. But anyway, so there you go, folks. That wraps that up. Let's move now and let's start the pre-flight of the MCDU. Now, this gets a little more complicated, only because I didn't put a flight route in there for us to pull up. I'm not worried about it. It's a few fixes, but you know, you'll get the hang of it here. And sometimes it's a good thing to do it yourself, because we got a couple of airways to put in there plus some directs. So let's start with, let's see here. Okay. So we're going to do engine nav data. We got to verify. Basically, what's the engines? That's what we have. There's our nav data. It's good till Tuesday? Good till Thursday. My bad. So Thursday, be expecting, we're going to be all updating our FMCs. And those of you for across the pond, I highly recommend it. Just so that you have the latest and greatest information. I will not be in the cross the pond. Gave up on that many moons ago. Just way too chaotic, way too uncontrolled, way too, just no. All right, so we're going to then push the initialize, and then we're going to put in our route. It's going to be in or I'm sorry, Lima, X-ray, Golf, Bravo, the slash mark, and then Lima, Oscar, Whiskey, India, Gibraltar to Innsbruck. Boom. We don't have any routes in there, so our flight number today is going to be MAC 0572. Cost index for the run today is a 60. Let me make sure that for some reason I'm thinking, I always second guess myself. I guess that's a good thing. 60 is the number. Oh, excuse me for that yawn, folks. And also, again, I'd like to apologize for the tardiness of getting online today, but I had to do the yard. And if you haven't seen what I posted in Discord, two reasons. One, it was getting to the likes of a forest out there in the backyard. And two, we have snow forecasted here in St. Louis on Tuesday. All right, so we've got our route in. We don't have company routes. There's our airline flight number, cost index, and flight level. We need to get the initialization going on the IRS units. We just click Align on Ref and confirm. Return. Now, this checklist confuses me. They want me to put my weights in now, and then the flight plan. I like to do the flight plan first. So we're going to move on to the flight plan. So we're departing runway 9, and there are no SIDS here, so we'll do a temp. All right, now our first fix is PIMOS. Man, am I yawning a lot today. All right, where are we? Okay, so now, airway. Okay, so what I'm doing here, let me go back to the flight plan. Okay, so we got PIMOS. So the next fix actually is the airway we're going to join and the exit point, which is SOPET. This is where I like Boeing over Airbus. Oh, and just noticed our GPS primaries are at the bottom, so we can click clear, clear, do a quick look up there. You can see they're in. Okay, so we just simply click PIMOS, look for airways. There's airway. We're going to go via the Uniform Mike 445. And the close point for that is Sierra Oscar Papa Echo Tango. There it is. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that for now. That way they're in. If I make a mistake, they stay. We fix the mistake. Next up. Actually, it's another stupid airway. I was dumb. Now, SOPET, we're going to click Airways. And that is going to be Uniform Mike 985. Now, I'm going to explain why I like Boeing over the MCDU. Hang on, let me get this put in. I don't want to get halfway through and forget something. EKSID. Okay. Boom. 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 Okay. We're going to do the same thing. All right, so from here, we're just going to be typing in fixes. Why I like Boeing's approach to airways is You put the airway here, the close point here, or in some of them, you can just keep putting your airways and it puts it. That can be dangerous because it may put the airway or close fix you're not expecting on your, for instance, I could type in UM445 here and then right below it UM985 and type in, and they may be a different fix and there's yet another one in between. I get that. But here it just seems like if I do a long flight, now it's not going to be in, well, in Europe it can be. There can be some very long flight plans. So it might behoove me sometimes to shoot the flight plan over here and load it up the easy way. I'm just thinking about it. Anyway, other than that, I don't have a lot of problems with it. But now, let's get those next fixes in here in NOSTA. Don't want to waste too much time here on the ground. NOPM. Let me just look at that again. NOPMU. Is that right? Yes. And then TAGIP. Okay, and I'm just going to move them up. All right, so for TAGIP, we're back on an airway. So we click there, click Airways. This one is going to be Tango 876. Make sure before I put it in. Tango 876. Closing at EKPIS. Okay. And then we'll click EKIPS. See, this is just all way too redundant for me. I guess it's just making sure you're putting in everything right. Mike 726. Mike 726. Breno. BRENO. Okay. To the flight plan. To the flight plan. All right. Now, we have been having so much fun with SimBrief over this flight plan. Loves to put us on the Bren 2 Alpha arrival, which is actually, when you look at it, it's going to shoot you east of the airfield to come back to come in. When you can do the 2 Bravo and shoot right up to basically the initial to come in. You may have to do a procedure turn, but anyway, get the point. So it's been kind of fun for me. So LOWI, arrivals. Where are the arrivals? Those are our stars. Okay. Of course you're gonna, I knew it, you're gonna make me sign in. Jeff Grafe, I'm really not liking you lately. Really not liking NavGraph and SimToolkit lately. Okay, so we are looking to do I believe it was Yankee. Okay. There it goes. We need to make sure here. Hang on. I don't want to go the wrong way. 3 Bravo. Okay. Okay, just looking it over real quick. Okay, looks good. Ah, went the wrong way. Sorry, folks. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, and I highly recommend this to everyone. I hate when it does that. Okay, so one, and let me move this over. All right, so we're going to, you know what I forgot to do, folks? Put it in arc. Now let's come down. All right, so we're going to cycle through. So you can see we're at runway 9. Basically, we're just making sure, capiche here on this flight plan, we didn't screw up an airway or screw up a typing on one of our two directs. Which are right here. No stud, no PMU. Okay. Now, so it's having us turn on to Whiskey 810 from Elman. We'll go through that here in a minute. But so far, so good. And no discontinuities. I like that part too. All right, so now we've gotten to the blue. What does the blue mean to us? Blue simply means missed approach. Let's put our missed approach in. And we'll take a look at that, like I said, once we're through the departure brief, or in the departure brief. So let's click F plan. Let's close. And I'm just going to go up there and move that back to arc. Okay. So, folks, we now have the flight plan loaded in. So we need to do is go back to the initialization page, click the arrow like it wanted me to, and let's request our weights. Pop this out, head over to the EFB. Whoops. And let's go to the perf data, 55.8, 55842. I'm good with that. 27.4, I'm good with that. 9.8, and I'm good with that. And okay, so we are showing flaps up at 0.6. Okay, so all right, so that's all good there. Oops, got 3 3s for some reason. Okay. So now let's move over to getting our performance information put in here. So we go to the perf page. First thing we're going to do is, he says cautiously, all right, so let's bring that over here. There is the POSCON live map. That's not what we're wanting to see, just so y'all know. Hang on. I'm in the wrong screen. Sorry, folks. There we go. Okay, so we're looking at the MCDUs and that information. So we need to get my browser up here, and we're going to go to this website right here. Now, it was giving Spy Flight yesterday some trouble, so hopefully we'll get what we need. Metric, we are at LXGB. We're going to grab the METAR. Okay. And just, yay. Boy, did those winds switch around quick. Wow. And they could switch again on us. Okay. Well, we're going to go with what we know. Let's do, for this departure, see, here's where I'm getting a little torn. Ah. Oh, that's why. I'm getting a config 3 on this one. Let me just, I know, easy thing I can do here. Hang on. We got a 5,800 foot long runway here, folks. We're going to go config 3. Okay, we're going to go config 2. Anti-ice off. We're on a dry runway. Kilograms. Okay, that's 55,842. Okay, MAC, which is, in essence, our CG 25.8. 25.8. Calculate. Oh, we got to calculate. Okay. And you can see our trim plus, which would be up 0.6. All right, so we're flexing at 61. Okay, it's right in the middle, isn't it? Ah, I tell you. Okay, well, we're going to see if we can't make it visible for y'all. We got one more place to go after this. Okay, hopefully, let me take a look, see if that's panning out good for y'all. No, it's not. Okay, well, worst case scenario, we do that. All right, that'll work. Let's go back to it. All right, so there we are, A320. Okay, so we're calling for flex of 61. Flap 2 slash UP 0.6. Okay. Now, transition level is 6,000 here, and I am going to verify that. I hope. I'm not going to get it there. Okay, so close that, slide that. I'm just checking Sim Toolkit. Ah, the things we're missing now. We don't have that transition level anymore. All right, well, I do know it's 6,000 feet. Okay, so we're good there. Finally, our V speeds. $121. $123, $126. 123, 126. Okay, so that gets our performance information in there. Go to flight plan. We got that. We got that. We got rid of all of our discontinuities. And we're going to just right over here on the other one. So there we go, folks. Now we're going to check one thing. We're going to work on our thrust reduction, acceleration, and engine out. To do that, there's actually another site we can go to. And bear with me. Okay. Now this guy, Blackbox 711, he's a streamer, just like me. We're going to enter the ICAO LXGB. I happen to know this is in there. Transition altitude 6,000 feet. You can also see that we're at 12 feet above sea level currently. Now we're on runway 9, so that's 1,600. And 1020 for thrust and acceleration. So we're going to put that in here. /1020. And then over on the next one, let me pull that up again. I can't see it. 1,600. Okay, so 1,600. Okay, and then I'm going to check our next phase. It shows transition of 7,000. I really hate it when they say by ATC. That's really crap. Boy, I really hate when they do that. We're going to go with 7,000. I know that's pretty close. Okay, so back to the perf page. We've got this. We're going to run through these real quick one more time. Top of climb. Okay, making sure we do not see a discontinuity. No discontinuities. Too steep. Okay, we'll deal with that in flight. Okay, we're good. All right, folks, that gets the MCDU all set up. Let me remove. Do a real quick thing behind the scenes here for myself. Okay. All right, so the next up is the flight control unit, folks. So we're going to basically pull back a little. We're going to get the Q&H in here. First thing we got to do is make it say Q&H. Q&H, as of right now, is (1020) 1020. Thankfully, it's moving it over here. Next up, FD should be lit up on both sides. Nav select should be on arc both sides. Range at 20. Constraints turned on. Auto throttles on. And the altimeter set. Or I'm sorry, not altimeter. Altitude. And we're going to 36. Okay. That, folks, is the flight unit or flight control unit check. And that, folks, wraps us up here. It's been about an hour in the pre-flight and getting all the panels set up. We're a little slower than I wanted to be, but we're ready to go. So we're going to do a departure brief rather quickly and then get on our way, because there's really not much to do other than how are we going to get to runway 9, and that's about it. So bear with me here. I'm bringing up MACAIR to get things set up in here. All right, folks, we got that going. All right, so departure brief. Means Sim Toolkit. Sim Toolkit is right there. And right there. Okay, so for Sim Toolkit, be nice. All right, so here it is, folks, in a nutshell, like I said. Okay, so we're parked stand 4. Actually, I think it really relates out to stand 5. But anyway, we're going to push back facing west. Once we're started up, we're going to taxi out A, back taxi to the end of the runway, and we're going to use every ounce of it, folks. I'd be stupid to tell you we're not. It's 5,800 feet. Compute. And yeah, so here we go. So there you go, folks. And transitions we don't have on this page, I don't think. No, we do not. So that's it basically for our takeoff brief. We don't have any stars here, folks. We don't have any SIDs that we're using. So let me just see if there's any data we can pull. Nope, there's no SIDs. So takeoff data. Runway 9 is from the threshold 5,013 feet, takeoff 5,512 feet. Easternmost 160 of the is not available. Okay, well, we're going to use every ounce of runway I can find out here. Of course, we have a main road. That's the big fun thing about this airport, crossing it. We'll show that off as we're taxiing. And then we're going to just fly right up that route. So there you go, folks. There's the departure brief. Let's get in now to the pushback and start. Pushing back and start checklist is we make sure now that all the doors are closed. Okay, so we're going to come over here to our flight bag, go to service, packs. Let's go ahead and remove our two stairs. We're going to also make a check. Cargo is clear. Fuel is clear. Okay, now let me come off this panel for a second. Remember, we left the external power on. Let's go ahead and kill it. So we're no longer on it. We're on the APU gens. We're good. We're on the APU bleed. We're good. So come back over here. We'll disable the ground power units. No longer blue. We still have our chocks. Okay, so let's go ahead, put the beacons on. Well, we're going to call the pushback.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
With an attitude like that, sir, I'll tell you where to go. Anyway, I know, bad humor again, sorry. All right, so we're going to go to about right there. Click and enter.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Good. Lower your nose a little. Tow veal's been called. Better pushbacks being used. ACARS is running. And let's just make sure we're on the map. And we are. So beacons can now, let's get the chocks out of the way. And to make sure, as you all know, I'm very known for this, the chocks are out of the way. There he is, pulling up. Okay, beacons. They are this switch to on. Seatbelts and all are on.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Good, get it connected. So the engine start is pretty simple. Once we get started here, we're going to basically turn the start selector to start the engine 2, then engine 1, and then we'll, once we're started, turn the APU bleed off. Pack 1 and 2, make sure they're on, APU master off. And then we get into a short taxi check, and then we go. And while we're waiting...
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Okay, we're going to do a quick check of ourselves. Doors are closed. Beacons are beckoning. And those doors are closed. So let's hop back up and let's release the parking brake.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
All right. So again, what we said is very simple. We come down here, move the start selector switch to start. And then we're going to select engine number 2 first. Okay. Pressure and numbers are coming up. Now, you'll know the engine is fully spooled up. You'll get in a veil here. Let me move into the middle. There's the avail. Now, we could start number 1 now. We'll go ahead and let's go ahead and get number 1 cranking up so we can get out here and get our job done. Okay. Now you're going to see it go gray while it's spooling, and then when it's ready, avail. All right, folks. You got a little over, or a little under 3 hours.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
All right, let's get that parking brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
And we got an avail. All right, so let's come in. See the avail there, right there, real quick. So, continuing on. APU bleed. Off. Pack 1 and 2 on. Again, remember what I told you. If you don't see the word off, they're on. Try that on your toddler next time. And finally, the APU master can be turned off. Okay, we're going to come back down. All right, so that, folks, is the push and start. Wait a minute, I have one.
Tow is disconnected. A bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time, and have a safe flight.
Okay, and we're just waiting on that hand signal before we continue on. Because what that hand signal gives us is the pin's out, we're good to go. There's the tug, wherever he stops. And there's the pin. Okay, folks, that's what we're really looking for. Okay, so continuing now. Brake fans on. Auto brake max. Weather radar on. Yeah, we'll go ahead and turn that on. So we're going to go to here, go to 1. We got our transponder set to 2000. Spoilers armed. Start switch to normal. Flaps. Okay. Remember, we're doing a flaps 2 departure. Technically, we probably ought to do a 3, but we'll go with 2. All right, so flaps are in transit. Now, we're going to also do a control check. Left, right. And basically all we're doing is removing the stick and seeing if it comes back. Wow, I never knew the rudders all moved. I mean, it's all controlled. Okay, rudders. Okay, down, up. And then finally, I'm going to pop this out, only because it's easier for me to see. I think it's this way. Nope, the other way. Oops. Hey, cut that out. There we go. All right, so there we go, folks. There's your parking brake will go off. Let's get the parking brake off. Let's start taxiing. Gibraltar traffic, MACAIR 572, taxi runway 9 for departure. Okay, here we go. Lights on. And basically we're just going to turn taxi light on, and so what we've got on, as you can see up front, is our turn off lights and a taxi light. And no, I'm not really good at steering it that way, folks. Okay, back taxiing the runway. So flaps are at 2. So remember how I said something about a road that goes through this airport? I believe it's right there. Let's look. Yep, there's the traffic. All that prevents that big truck and cars and big truck and cars over there from coming across are railroad gates that come down. At least that's what it looked like on the video. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I am going to turn my strobes on. Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff. Alright, we're on the center line. Let's get our lights on. Okay, takeoff. Runway hold. Packs are on. Landing lights are on. Nose lights are on. Transponders on TA. RA. We're going to go above. And we're good. Alright, so like I said, we just need to turn our lights on. Everything's on TO. Just get a quick look up front here. I don't like that blur behind it, but you all have heard me say that a million times, so that's all I'm going to say. And then you can see all the lights are on.
Row 9.
And ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Gibraltar traffic, MACAIR 572 departing runway 9. And since I need as much runway as possible, we'll push the stick down a little. Here she goes. 80 knots. Whoa.
V1, V2.
What the heck was that? Okay. Oop, we want gear up, not down. Let me make sure we're going to get recording on this.
Gear up.
Okay. All right, so flaps are coming up. There we go. And flaps up. All right, so let's do an after takeoff check here, shall we? Brake fans off. Auto brake. Oh, wait a minute, that's before takeoff. My bad. Gear, nose, flaps, spoilers will need to disarm. And folks, we're airborne. Brake fans are off, spoilers disarmed. That is the after takeoff checklist. I want to thank you all for flying with Mike today. Hope you all enjoy. Hopefully, okay, we just passed our transition level. So we got that set to standard. All right, so our next items are at 10,000 feet when we'll turn the lights off outside. And hope you enjoy this flight over to Innsbruck. We'll get some updated times here once we cross the 10,000 foot mark. But for now, folks, enjoy the ride. We've gotten all our checks done. We're an hour and a half into the stream. And hopefully we can make Innsbruck today. All right, so PMOS is 8 miles ahead of us.
10,000 feet.
There's 10,000. All right, so we're going to turn all of our lights for the most part off. Give them the electronics back there. We're not going to be below 0 on the TAT, and the Barrow is already at transition level. We are on our way to cruise, folks. So thank you again for joining Flying with Mike. Hope you enjoy it. Please click follow if you're interested. We'd love to have you on future flights. Wednesday night, I'm hoping, or Wednesday or night, depending on how my day goes. We hope to fly up in Alaska again, restart up our Flying Alaskan Bush. From Wainwright to Barrow. In probably the Caravan, but it might be the T-44. Not 100% sure yet. That'll definitely be a change up from what we've been doing for the last few months with just airliners. So that ought to turn into a fun ride. But anyway, if you like what you see, hope to see you then. Clicking follow will let you know when and where we're flying next by getting an email. So we're on our way to 36,000 feet. POSCON is the air traffic we're under. No ATC in the area, both here and at Innsbruck. So enjoy the run. Alright folks, back with you. Sorry about that. It's getting a little cold in the house. Don't know if the proverbial front is coming through that's going to snow on us Tuesday or not. But it's getting chilly, so for St. Louis at least. Some of y'all are like, oh, that's a tropical heat wave going on there. So, alright, so let's hop up into the cockpit here and see what we can see here as we go through 32,000 feet. Oh, excuse me. Alright, so we're through 33,000. We're going to hold the music here for just a tad bit longer. Climb up, hit the cruise, and we'll get back into the music. Like I said, Millennium Aviation's who we're going to be flying with today. MACAIR for short. They're a good airline. I've been flying with them, probably a year or two now. So they're really good. They have historic divisions. Oh man, excuse me. Historic, charter, open divisions, what most everyone starts in, and then you can add on from there. Cargo, as well as pro flight, where you actually fly a syllabus, if you will, and work your way through to be getting your ATP, simulated ATP, not the actual way the real pilots do it, but you still increase your knowledge through it. So it's a really good airline, folks. Feel free to look them up. I recommend them, but you know, it's up to you folks. Flying with airlines, I know y'all get, ooh, they've got too many rules. Not really, MACAIR. Not really. They got a lot of, they have a destination of the month to fly to if you want to. They also have group flights. And for those of you that watch the streamers, Captain Mac, he's on YouTube. He's Millennium Aviation Captain Mac. So, but anyway, we're now closing in on our top of climb. So let's go through the cruise checklist. Seatbelts off. We're just going to do it the easy way. So seatbelts are going to go to auto. And we're going to do a cabin. Basically, we're going to run the gauntlet, as I call it. So, basically, we're on cruise. We're set to 23 degrees Celsius in the cockpit. Let me bring a little cheat sheet up here for myself. Okay. And I really do apologize for all the yawns. I am still a little tired. It's been a productive weekend, let's just put it that way. Saturday was at my daughter's house in St. Charles, Missouri, helping them paint the baby room, the nursery. Little kiddos due in July or August, something like that. So, yep, gonna be a granddad. Let's see, but looking at our temperatures here, and then today mowed the yard, plus I had to, with church, I was working with the slides. So, you know, made it into a pretty productive week, and now we're flying to Innsbruck after doing the yard. So 25 degrees is what we got both forward and aft compartments back with the passengers. That's around 77, I believe, Fahrenheit. Yep. 23 degrees up in the cockpit, so we're a little over 70 degrees here, keeping it a little cooler. I may have it backwards. They may tell us to turn it the other way. We'll listen in to the flight attendants. So we are at top of cruise. So let's kind of go through each of these pages so you can see them. So there's our engine page with our oil, pressure, Here, let's just pull it out. So you got your oil quarts, PSI, temperatures, FIBES, and fuel used in kilos so far. Then we have our bleed. Basically, this is the air coming off the engines. Now, listening to the real Airbus pilot while I'm at work, working out at work, not a whole lot here. He tried changing some things that should be the way they're supposed to be. They're not, he said. I couldn't tell you what they are, folks. So, but anyway, this just our bleeds. Let's move over to the cabin pressure. This is saying that we are set to 1920 feet. Oh, that's our landing elevation, which is about right. I'm going to say that was wrong. Let me go back to bleed. Okay, next. And then our electrics just kind of gives you an idea of how things are set up. You can see our gens, DC, you know, and all right here. Next up is the hydraulics. And you can see our hydraulics are pretty decent right now. Nothing's in the reds. Green, blue, and yellow. I learned something here from that Airbus pilot we'll get to momentarily. Next up is the fuel page. Oops, there we go. And again, it's just breaking down the fuel. You can see that we're a little out of balance. And you can actually bring that into balance, folks. It's not by much. Now we're getting a little bit. So hang on. Let's see if I can do this right. Okay. So let's get the cross feed open. Now we want to burn from here, so we'll turn these off. And that basically will allow us to get things back in line. Actually, we're way out of whack right now. So let's see if it's catching up. It is slowly catching up, so we'll watch it. Let's come back down here. We'll come back to that page here in a moment. The next one on the all is the APU. Nothing to see there. It's shut down. Here's our temps, high flows, how you can, you know, if you raise or lower, what it does. Better not be a door open. All the slides are armed. Wheel doors are closed. Wheels are looking good on temps. Now, here's what I learned from the Airbus pilot. So when you look at your page here, you're going to see, for instance, trim GY, rudder GBY, elevator YB. What is it saying? Well, that's your hydraulic system, folks. So if I lost the green system, I wouldn't have elevator, left elevator possibly. I'm sorry. I wouldn't have a problem with that. However, because it went that way, it'll come back. It's a redundant system. But anyway, it's just telling you what hydraulic systems those are. I thought that was pretty interesting. And then we're back. Let's do a status check, normal, recall, clear. And let's get back up to fuel. We're getting close to where we're 1,000 kilograms off. Once we're back, we'll reverse the process by kicking the pumps on and then turn the cross feed off. We're getting there. So, kind of shocked it got that bad, but anyway. So, but there you go, folks. Just something I learned, you know, little things. And they do that about every 30 minutes. Go through each one of them, making sure nothing's sparking. course, when you hit recall, or I'm sorry, status, brings you to the main page anyway. Since we're working with fuel, I want to keep that up for just a little longer, make sure. But anyway, folks, that's just something, a little tidbit of information. Take it for what it's worth, a grain of salt. So we're slowly coming up on it. We're going to go ahead and bring the music back in. And hope you enjoy the ride up to Innsbruck, according to MACAIR. 1 hour, 43 minutes away. Enjoy the ride. All right, folks. So as you saw, we're back into our normal fuel consumption. We're going to check that real quick. And we're sitting flat out even. All right, again, here's our cruise page. Basically lets you know the fuel, the oil, the vibes, landing altitude. Currently the cabin is at 7,400 feet, not climbing, not descending. So, looking good, folks. And the big thing I forgot to point out on this page, the door page, is the oxygen. That we want to make sure is green. It is for the cockpit, which would be a good thing they're able to breathe. So, but anyway, there you go, folks. About every 30 minutes, you should be doing that. If you're in the real bus, simulated, do your best. You know, have fun. Enjoy. That's what we're here for. We're not here. This is not a day job. Well, it is for me. But, you know, we're out here to just have fun. So, there we are over Spain. So enjoy the ride, folks. Got anything you'd like to talk about, anything at all? Hit us in the chat room, let me know. I'm more than willing to talk away. Kind of looking forward to this run on Innsbruck. It's been a long time since I've done it. So, and I've never done it in an X-plane, nor in an Airbus. So, ought to be fun. Let's kind of see what kind of weather we're looking at. Of course, now it's going to want to rain. All right. Now, one thing, folks, anytime you look in the cockpit, you see the times. They are altered. I wanted to fly this in the daytime to see the Alps. So, that's the reason. So, just so you know, I've set, I don't even know how far off real time we are. So, all right, folks, we're going to be on the side. Anything you want to chat about, please let me know. Our Discord channel is still up there, so feel free to join in. We'd like to build that community of pilots up as well. Just checking some. So, hope you all enjoy. If you do, please click follow. We sure love to have you along for our next flights. Next flight, by the way, is Wednesday. We got to work 48 hours out at the airport, but we'll see you Wednesday up in Alaska flying this Caravan to or from Wainwright in the northwest corner over to Barrow. And then we'll see if there's anything else we can cook up there or somewhere else in the world. So for now, we're on our way from Gibraltar to Innsbruck. Hope you enjoy the run. Okay, folks, real quick here, let's take a look. Let me pull us off a couple things here. That. Okay, so we're back in the cockpit. Let's do the arrival brief here real quick. Looking at the MCDUs, we're uh, 366 miles out of Innsbruck, and we're about 278 miles out of top of descent. So we're going to go through this kind of quick. Our dinner here is just about ready. So let me get Sim Toolkit pulled up here. That way we can get right into it. And okay, so looking at it here real quick, if everything goes as it's supposed to, good deal. Okay, so we're coming in. We're still over the Med. We got to come in over, what is that, Milan, technically, here in Italy. Work our way up through the Italian, Swiss, into the Austrian Alps, and come into Innsbruck. So Brno is where it all is going to start. So we've got the Brno chart up. We come in at, let me just make sure everything is as I hope it is, and it looks that way. Okay, so Brno is at or above 14,000 feet. Now, on POSCON here, I haven't seen any ATC, and I'm double checking right now. Haven't seen or heard anything, nor have I ever got my, um, oop, I did not want to do that. Dadgummit. Oh well, there is no ATC up, so that's a good thing. So looking at our chart here, oops, helps to have the chart in front of me. Brno is going to be our first fix on the Brno 3 Bravo arrival. Then we're going to go up to Whiskey 1600. All of this is at or above 14,000 feet. Minimum safe in the region is 14,500. So plan on us descending through this. The Elam. Elam is at or above 13,000. Okay, from Elam. Okay, that's when we join our RNAV arrival. So again, we're at 13,000 feet at Elmem, sorry. Now we've got programmed the Yankee Arrival. So from Elmen, we're going to be basically following the RNAV route you see here, and the airport itself is right here in between Whiskey I 005, Whiskey II 03, or I'm sorry, Whiskey I 103, my bad. Elman, safe altitude is 14,500. And then as we progress, we get 13.7 and so forth. So you get an idea. We got high terrain. We're in the Alps, folks. We're following basically a river valley. So across the top, we see our frequencies. Next line, RNAV. Final approach course is 084. Now, by Whiskey, hang on a second, I'm trying to locate it before I say it. Okay, so Whiskey I 813. Okay, now that's located right here, folks. We need to be at 8,300 feet. Our MDA for this approach is 7,100 feet, and our altitude for the airport is 1907. So we got to be careful with what we're doing. ATC calls the trans level. I really hate that on these charts. Our NIP approach, runway elevation is 68 feet. HEPA. Okay, that one confuses me too. Okay, so. Okay. So, we come off Elam to Whiskey India 810 to Whiskey India 811. That joins us here. Then we're on a 084 to Whiskey I India 812, Whiskey India 13, Whiskey India 14, Whiskey India 006, 005, then right into the runway. All right, we'll make sure everything's programmed in correctly. Here is our descent, and we are going to be running at about a 3.77 descent angle, degree angle. So that'll be about 1,000 feet a minute at 160 feet a minute, 900 feet a minute at 140. So that gives you an idea. That way we'll be able to maintain it for the, what is that, 31 miles we got to run this approach. Pappies will be on the left side, and here's our missed approach. We climbed to 9,500 feet via RNAV, missed approach track to RTT and hold. Pretty simple. So 9,500 feet above sea level is the altitude we go. 8,300 feet, which is, where are you? Right here at 813. We got to be at that, folks. And then we got to track in. We're not going to see the runway quite a bit through this pass. So once we get in there, we'll be good to go to get in for our arrival. A lot of information there. It's going to be interesting to watch unfold. Like I said, it's been a couple of years since I've flown this approach, and never in an Airbus. But Airbus, Boeing, shouldn't matter. It's how we fly the approach. So the only other thing is we're going to be doing our own descent so we can keep up here. According to this, Elman at 13,000. Looks like we can do that to 810, which is right here on the chart. But by 811, we got to be into our descent and try to follow these numbers down. So at 814, which is right here where we enter the river, that's where we would make our call go or no go. Current weather that I've got for us, let me bring it up for you all. Hang on a second. Okay, as of 22:20, which is now 20 minutes old, actually 30 minutes old, 140 at 3, light rain, few clouds at 2,800 feet, broken 3,600 feet, 5 degrees, 3 degrees, and it's QNH of 1019. So that's what we're looking at, folks, for our arrival. Hope everything goes as we planned. The last thing I want to go through real quick, and then we'll get back to the music. Oh, hang on a second, and we update. Okay, now I just got a new METAR. 2250, it's variable. Little different. Variable, a few clouds broken at 4,000, 5 degrees, 1019 still. So that's a slight improvement. Right now, our one thing I haven't gone over, we're landing on a 6,500 foot runway, and that's the opposite direction. My bad. Try this again. So it's a 6,500, 62 foot long runway, 148 feet wide, heading of 78 degrees. Transition level is 7,000. Again, sorry for all the clearing of the throat. Looks like we're going to plan a VREF of 129, approach at 134. So we'll do our best to maintain everything here. That does complete the arrival brief. Feel free, if you have Sim Toolkit, to pull up the charts, get familiar with them, because when we get there, that's what I'm going to be doing, is getting really familiar with them. But we're 297 miles out, 200 miles out of top of descent. So we'll see you at about 50 miles out of top of descent. So we're going to roll some music, and we'll see you then. Okay, folks, sorry for the interruption in that song. Hope y'all weren't getting too comfy with it. We are coming up to TAGIP, and as you noticed when we scrolled down here, they're telling us to enter our data. So let's get over to the approach page, and now let's pull up that information. All right, so okay, so we are looking at a QNH of 1019. Temperature, I believe I saw 5. I'm going to play it safe, put it in this way. Wind variable. Well, let's see what I get here. Usually I can get a wind out of it. 260 at 1. Yeah, that is variable. Okay. Transition is 7 now, the MDA. And of course, NavGraph, you're going to make me sign in again. Boy, I really hope you guys are going to fly across the pond. That doesn't become an issue. That would really stink. Okay, zoom down. MDA. I am looking at 7,100 feet. Okay, let's try something else. $51.93. Okay. All right, and we are looking at okay, so we are full VLS. I guess that's our landing speed is 130. We're showing actually 129, 135, 130. Okay, so we're off by the professional flight planner by a knot. Whoopee. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. Sorry, folks. All right. So we've got everything set up now. Let's go back to the perf page. We're 32 miles out. We've got a checklist to run. All right, so 20 miles out of top of descent. We've got the QNH. Phase to the approach page entered. We've got the, well, let's go down here and check. I don't think there's any nav rads for this. Well, they actually are showing one, OEJ 1097. We're not going to be flying that, so seatbelt signs will go on. Altimeter setting for star set. That will be 13,000. Well, we're going to set it for 14, then 13, then 7,000, and work our way down. That's the only way I know the easiest way to do this arrival. Hang on a second. I see we're having stream problems on my laptop. We'll see if that really translated out. Nope, it did not, because my other screen that I watch is fine. Okay, so F-plan, progress. Okay. So folks, we are ready for the descent that's coming. We're going to set our altitudes right now for 14. That's our first constraint. coming in on the actual arrival. That has to be we can't go below 14,000 till Whiskey India 600. So Breno has to be above 14, Whiskey India 1600 above, Elman above 13, then we work in on the arrival. So, and I don't see speed restrictions, so that's going to be good. RNAV 5 or B RNAV approval required. Oh, goodness gracious, mercy sakes alive. All right, so we are set up to come in. Make sure we don't have anything over here. Parking, landing, takeoff. Nope. Okay, so put the tray away. Let's take a look here now. We're 12 miles out. See what we can see out the windows real quick. Clouds, wouldn't you know? All right, folks. So here we go. There's the hockey stick for the top of descent. We'll see what happens here. We're going to let it do it on its own. Actually, I just pushed, I hope for the managed. And if, as I'm looking at the nav display versus the altimeter, we'll definitely have 14,000 beat at Breno. All right, so we do welcome you all aboard. We hope you enjoy the ride. Coming into Innsbruck, it's been a long time since I've been here. Starting the turn at Expis to Breno, and then to Whiskey India 600. So look forward to this run. We're starting to come out of the sky here at a pretty good rate, which is what a friend of mine many years ago felt the descent was like in the Airbus, like you just fall out of the sky. I don't know how accurate it is. I've never flown on one, so I don't know. Let's just kind of, well, let's take a look outside. What the heck? Oh well. Pretty scenery, though. I would have loved to have seen it, but it is what it is. But we are going to do our best to get on the ground here. Like I said, I haven't flown Innsbruck in a long time, so we'll see how good or bad I am into here. Okay, there's Breno, and we're through 25,000. So we'll keep her set at 14,000 till we know for sure we've gotten past Whiskey India 600. That's actually a pretty neat shot. Okay, and so far the managed part of this looks good. Our green dot's right in the middle here where it should be. It's kind of analogous when you're looking at a Boeing screen, how you have your vertical deviation indicated here. Can't remember if it's on the PFD or not. It's been a little bit. It's analogous to that. And that, folks, is what we're flying through to get into Innsbruck. And I am going to go ahead and open this up. Feel free to let me know that I'm doing this approach wrong. I can almost feel it in my bones that we would be required to go to Elman, do a procedure turn, come back before coming on this. Just my gut. Tell me if I'm wrong. I'd love to hear it, see it in the chat room, hear it. I don't care. But I would love to know. Just something tells me I would have to do a procedure turn in the real world. I know there's some of you out there from that fly Europe that would know. So, Black Box, I know you're out there, would definitely know going in there. But a few others of you, fess up. Let me know if I'm right or if I'm way out of here. Okay, now we're starting to get some good screenshots here. Okay, I'll take them. So everything goes well, this will go to YouTube. Everything goes bad, it may still go to YouTube.
18,000 feet.
Okay, there we go. Man, that is just some fantastic shots. Beautiful territory out there, folks. Again, we'll be leveling off at 14,000. Okay, we're set up to 811. Yep, I know. I got my speed brake out. Okay. Okay, there's 812, so we got 813, which is 8,300 feet. Okay. Then 814. Hang on. This is where I'm getting confused. Oh boy. Oh great. Where are the rest of my fixes? WIO6. Oh great, we got clouds. Okay, folks. Pardon me. Yes, we're going to go that. We're going to clear up. Just because I got to be able to see on this first run. Okay. So hang on. We're going to pause out here. Oh boy. Oh, there's our airfield. How about that? Holy crap, are you serious?
feet.
I botched this one. Well, we're going to try a circle to land to runway 26. Alright, so I'm taking the plane. Flaps 1. Spoilers, first off, brakes, medium, lights on. For some reason that does look a lot easier. Okay, I need speed brakes now. Okay, gear down.
Gear down.
$2,500.
All right, so Innsbruck traffic, MACAIR 572. Coming in, runway 26 after the circle to land. Runway in sight, gear down, flaps full. And yes, we botched it. Kind of figured I would. Alright, but we're lining up on the runway, so we shouldn't botch it from here. Okay. Final approach check. Brake fans. On. Landing lights. On. Spoilers armed. Brakes 3. Flaps full. Okay, we are managed. Okay.
1,000.
Okay, note to self, next time it says to do the two-way approach, we do the two-way approach. Alright, I see I've got 4 people laughing at me. That's cool. Love these kind
Approaching
of flights.
26.
Alright, well folks, put your predictions in. From now, I should be able to fly this with no trouble. I would hope. Don't know why that RNAV is so hard. That's one I gotta fly a few more times.
500.
Fun place, though. And yes, I killed the weather because
400.
I wouldn't have been able to do what I'm doing right now.
300.
Flaps full. Autopilot's off.
200. 100.
No offense, folks, I'm not going outside the plane.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
All right, reverse.
2,000 feet remaining.
All right, for such a botched approach, we'll take the landing. All right, let's get this bird stopped. We'll clear the ILS line. MACAIR 572 is on the ground. Clear runway 26, taxi to the terminal. Okay, after landing checks. Lights. Strobes auto. Okay. Flaps. Ooh, we're moving. Dadgummit, I hate when it's got enough power to do that. Standby. I said wait. You're gonna wait. Okay, flaps up. Spoilers down. Transponder. Standby. Weather radar off. A poo. Master on. Sorry about that, folks. I had to mute real quick or I'd cough in your ear. And flaps open, starting up the APU. All right, so let's go ahead, take her in. All right, well, folks, those of you that joined to watch the landing into Innsbruck, I hope I didn't, well, I probably upset a lot of you folks in Europe. Yeah, just long times. I think I did the same thing when I flew in before. So maybe that's the way it's flown. I don't know. Something tells me flying with Mike's way isn't the right way. Oh, call me, call me silly. But we'll take it. It was 158 feet a minute registered by Sim Toolkit. We're taxiing in. I have no idea what gate we're going to take, but it'll be one of those down there by the control tower. But anyway, we really do. That was, I'm going to have to say, it's not what I expected. And I'm going to read that chart again. Maybe it does say circle to land. I don't know, because that MDA is awful doggone high. So, but like I said, I'm not familiar with the airport at all. So you could have told me to fly upside down, inside and around the tower and up and over the hills, and that's how the approach is flown, and I'd believe you. Well, wait a minute. That's how I normally fly anyway, so what's the difference? All right, so here we come into the ramp area. Let me get slowed up here. Kill the taxi lights. And I don't know. I don't know what gate I want. Let's see. I think I'm going to take this one right here because it looks like that's a way, one of the, what they would call a jetway here. Don't know. But we'll take it. Radar's off, so we'll be good turning in. Let's come out the plane. All right, folks. All right, so we've made it safely, believe it or not, into Innsbruck. I'm pretty sure I did not fly the approach as it was meant to be flown. If I did, God help us. All right, parking brakes on. Okay, so final checks. First thing, last thing we have not done yet, let's kick the APU bleed on. Okay, while the ground crews are doing their thing, let's do our thing. Parking brake on, throttle levers level. Seatbelt signs and all can be turned off. Hey, we're moving. Why are we moving? Okay, how bad's the damage? Do I need to go into reverse? I think we're going to go into reverse. Idle back. Ah, the old Ozark ways of pushbacks. All right, parking brakes set. Take two. Throttle levers closed. Seatbelt signs are now off. No smoking sign. Engines 1 and 2 can be shut. Let's make sure to APU on the gen. We don't have the bleeds open yet. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn the bleeds. Oh, we do have the bleeds on. Okay, so thrust levers off. Engine 1. Engine 2. External lights off. Okay, wing lights, beacons are off. Fuel pumps. Brake fan. Okay, get over here. Get caught up real quick. Chocks are in. I'm kind of nervous to look outside my plane. All right, there we go, folks. We are in the blocks. Last steps here to shut down are lights, strobes. Okay, strobes can go off. ADIRS. And the packs stay on. And folks, we're in between flights. We're not flying anymore tonight, but that does make it a wrap here in Innsbruck. What I am going to do is something I don't normally do. Well, no, because I can see what we were supposed to do is come through that notch and make our landing. How in the world you do that, I have no idea. One last look. Hang on a second. We're going to look together. Feel free to let me know via chat or come on at another time. Let me know what I did wrong. But oh, continue visually along the prescribed identical to the missed approach track and okay, let me take a look at the Zulu. This is the one I should have flown. Yep. Okay, so MDA 2,900 feet. Yep, that's the one. Okay, so we flew the wrong approach. We flew the one where you should be able to see the runway most of the way down. Instead of this RNAV, Zulu, which would have brought us in better shape. Oh, and you all didn't see that. My bad. All right, so real quick, what we learned. Okay, this is the one I should have flown, the RNIP Z runway 8 arrival. It's the same doggone thing almost. Almost. Different numbers, but you can see a solid line all the way in. And that's what I should have done. There is no special other than their authorizations, dual GNet. I mean, so you're flying it in whether you see the runway or not. Your missed approach is 2,900 feet, which is... and it's got speeds, the whole 9 yards. You're looking at a missed approach somewhere in this area. However, what I was set up for was the Yankee approach. Now, you fly it as the direct. See, I didn't read all of the directions. It's line 2 continue visually, which we would have never been able to do, along the prescribed line, to missed approach track, required vertical descents, runway may not be and remain in sight at all times, but other visual cues surrounding the track and vicinity may be used for sufficient reference. In essence, folks, Captain Mike here was an idiot. So that's me. That's, like I said, it's been a long time since I've flown this approach, folks. And I'll fess up when I screw up. So, and I screwed it up this time pretty decently. All right, so, well, folks, that's going to be a wrap. We're finishing up the final touches here. We're completing the flight. I'm still going to take it. We ended up doing the circle to land because we cleared up the weather. But everything else, folks, is a... what did MACAIR call us in at? Let's see. Where I always miss out where that's hiding. 219 feet a minute. Oh, you guys are so picky. All right, so filing the pirate with MACAIR. And let's get off Sim Toolkit here so you can see the rest of the story. So basically, folks, what it boiled down to is I flew the wrong approach. My bad. Lesson learned. It does say right on them. Hang on, I'll read it to you. You don't need to see it. I can simply read the verbiage. Actually, not very easily. The verbiage was, air crews should be trained in how to fly this approach. Well, you can't get trained unless you fly it. Anyway, so, well, we've had some fun. I mean, it was a long run, beautiful scenery here. Let's pull out and take a look. I mean, look at that, folks. I'm telling you, FSX doesn't look like that. You just come on around here. We'll just do a 360. Take a look at that valley I was supposed to be in. All right. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed the flight. I sure did, even though we were kind of rushed at the end here. I've got to get ready now for a 48-hour work shift starting at 7:30 in the morning. It's 7 o'clock at night here. So we wish you all a great rest of your Sunday and a great start to your week. Wednesday, we hope to be flying general aviation up in Alaska. And yes, after this fiasco, we plan to read charts a little bit more. But the good thing is, no crime, no foul. Everything landed safely. And folks, we thank you for flying with Mike. Any questions, any comments, please feel free to leave them in the chat. Like I said, this will be going over to YouTube eventually, so try and catch it there. If you got questions, put them in there. I actually do read all the comments, may not reply, but I do read them. And if vulgar ones come in, I do report them, just to warn you. So be nice on your critiques. You know I'm not the smartest, best airline pilot out there, but I'm the best I have in my house. So y'all have a great Sunday. Great start to your week again. We'll catch you another day, another way. Captain Mike here saying, we thank you for flying with Mike. Be safe. God bless. And have a great week. I'm sorry, folks. The traffic here is cracking me up. Truck hit me again. Y'all have a great week. See ya.